Chairman Patrick McHenry is at the desk. Hello.
Great to be with you, Jen.
Welcome.
Awesome to be here at this great event.
Welcome to New York.
Yeah. What a messy welcome, but it's nice and warm in here.
It is nice and warm in here.
Ondo's put on a great event.
Well, you know, the conversations we've had up until now have really been about this event exemplifying the convergence of TradFi and the digital asset world. And this is something that you worked for a long time in your career. Just talk to me about being here and seeing folks from the traditional firms like Franklin Templeton, like WisdomTree, and then people from protocols like Ripple and Stellar, all in here having conversations and driving the financial space forward.
Look, I think this is a great example of the crypto summer that we're in, right? After facing this winter for the last couple of years and the regulatory lockdowns in Washington, to see this start opening up again and us getting back into these conversations about how you can take traditional financial products that are available, but in a more analog-based system, and fully digitizing it. It's using the best software, the best technology possible to give the consumers what they want faster, better, and cheaper. And so this is the easiest, I don't want to say easiest, but perhaps the first wave of crypto awakening will come from TradFi adapting and using new tools that they've wanted to use, but regulators in Washington were so doubtful and pulled them back from doing the things that they wanted to do. And now they can see that they can hitch up and go. And this is really the first wave that will happen in TradFi using platforms like Ondo and then the tools that they're building for TradFi to link them up with consumers.
I want to talk about Washington for a second because I think that there are people in this industry who still feel like legislation isn't moving fast enough. We had that press conference the other day from the crypto and AI czar, David Sachs. Markets really kind of didn't react to that at all. As a matter of fact, I think they went a little down after the press conference. What would you tell those people on how things move in Washington?
Slow. But okay, so the initial thing here, after the election, everybody's like, we've won. There is no permanent victory. There's no permanent defeat in Washington. Yes, the election was a bipartisan victory for crypto. And to have the public stand with crypto campaign unlock this thing where Democratic and Republican members of Congress understood it's safe and good to be with this new technology. That's victory one. Then victory two is getting the proper regulators in the proper seats so that you can start writing regulation. Getting congressional committees rolling on an agenda so that legislation, law can change, so we don't ever have to deal with what we've dealt with in the last 4 years of regulators and an administration being so woefully anti-crypto. Those two things take more time. It takes time for Senate confirmation for those important seats of financial regulators. That will come across this whole year. And it may take 18 to 20 months before we can actually see law enacted that will affect crypto in a substantial and structural way. A market structure bill, a definition of what is a digital asset and the nature of it, giving it its own fit-for-purpose set of regulations. French Hill is leading this effort as chair of the House Financial Services Committee. He's put together a subcommittee. I started the Digital Asset Subcommittee, and first one of its kind in Congress. French is taken that and enhanced it. And so they're driving legislation. We'll see votes in committee. We'll see hearings. But it's not going to be at the speed of crypto. It's not going to be the speed of the need and the desperate need for us to get a better competitive landscape in the United States. So that is going to have to be like tap the brakes, slow your roll. It's going to take a little time to actually get D.C. to change law, but it's coming.
Well, make sense of that for me, because you just said 18 to 20 months. We heard in the press conference we could have a stablecoin bill or FIT21 in 100 days. You mentioned the speed at which this industry innovates at. Make sense of that for me. What happens in the next 18 to 20 months? Is it still this ambiguity for crypto firms in the United States?
Okay, so let's start here.
Okay.
You have financial regulators. This is the first wave. The president has to nominate heads of agencies. You see cabinet appointees being confirmed, first with the Treasury Secretary, investment being confirmed with a wide bipartisan majority. That is the first wave, Treasury. Getting Treasury right means that you get a proper view of the tax implications of digital assets. It means that you have the folks that are designing policy for the administration in the White House with the National Economic Council and with Treasury working on policy and the administration's view of what we do in crypto. That's happening. Then you have important financial regulators like the Vice Chair for Supervision at the Federal Reserve has to be nominated. The head of the OCC, the Office of Comptroller of the Currency, which will have an important role in a stablecoin regime. The Fed, OCC. FDIC, you have to have a chair of the FDIC confirmed. And you have to have a chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission and a chair of the CFTC. Those things are not done yet.
Yeah.
So you have to get people in their seats, and then once you get them in your seats, then you see the regulatory machinations. That's one element. The Hill is different. And that's where that action will take. It works at a different pace for legislating on the Hill. So you'll see hearings coming in the coming weeks and months. Hearings lead to legislation coming out of committee, going to the House floor, passing the House floor, going to the Senate. That is a longer process. And that is why I say this is not a 100-day proposition in all likelihood, but it could be moved up based on the president prioritizing this as he has.
Do you have FOMO watching this from the outside?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, because the stuff that I've spent my whole career working on, using technology in the world of finance, opening up from our traditional regulatory approach to using modern techniques with software, with technology. All this stuff is coming. The wave is cresting. And there's now massive momentum with bipartisan legislating, a clear electoral mandate, and a president who says, this is a priority, we're going. And that, to the point where President Trump appointed a crypto and AI czar, right? High prioritization for the administration to say, we have somebody like David Sachs who is best in class, world class, devoting himself, and then he's building a team. And the team that he's built out on crypto and AI is jaw-droppingly awesome. It's incredible. It's technology incredible. It's VC incredible. It is the world of crypto incredible. It's so amazing. So all that stuff says there is momentum here. And for me to be out there surfing waves that are small and trying to get some movement here, and now I see, like, look, surf's up. And I'm sitting on the beach. It doesn't feel quite the same.
Are you going to work in the crypto industry?
There's a lot of my public policy work I'm now trying to apply in the private sector.
Yeah?
So crypto, AI, fintech.
Okay.
This world I'm so fascinated by, so interested in. That's why I'm here with Ondo, and to talk about those things that are necessary for us to get the full benefit of crypto. And applying it to TradFi and getting consumer benefit. Yeah.
You know, I got to ask you, we were just talking about the chairs that still need to come in. At the CFTC, we have acting chair Caroline Pham. It's not clear if the president is going to choose a chair for the CFTC. It seems like he's waiting to see how things pan out. We have the Department of Government Efficiency looking at maybe the CFTC and the SEC should be one. What are your thoughts there? Do you think the CFTC and the SEC could come together and just be one regulatory body?
I doubt it, and I highly doubt it. I do think the president will nominate in short order a chair of the CFTC. I think that's coming, and I don't think that's months away. And combining these agencies has been around for a long time. I don't think that should be a high priority. I think we need to get the law right, and I think we need to go as fast as we can on getting crypto law, digital asset law, and regulation that conforms with the needs of the consumer, of our capital markets, and catches us up to the rest of the world. I think it's really a high imperative.
Do you think the U.S. can catch up to the rest of the world?
I think so. I think we can. I think we have to. And now you have an administration that says we will. That is a beautiful and good thing.
I got to ask you about the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. It's all anyone in this industry talks about. I know when Lummis presented the plan last summer at the Bitcoin conference, it was a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Now we're talking about maybe a crypto stockpile that could have other digital assets. What are your thoughts there? Do you have one preference over the other?
No, and it's something I don't need to I don't want to spend a ton of time on, because I think we have such a massive debt and deficit, budget deficit, that we have to get government efficiency going. That is the imperative. You see President Trump announce that we're going to have a sovereign wealth fund.
Yep.
Something like this might fall into some thinking like that on how we invest in ourselves to compete with the rest of the world. I think the good news is we are still the place where global capital wants to come. And we are where technologists want to be because of our legal rights, our open, deep, and liquid financial markets, our rule of law. I think we have such great benefits that the rest of the world wants to come and participate and be a part of what is the United States. And I think of that as cultural, and I mean that is like the big, like, we're an open society. We believe in the rule of law, we believe in speech rights, and we've exported that. That is the greatest good that we've exported in the United States. So I think it's imperative that we get those things right. The details of this stuff, I leave to other people.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you say that. I was talking to SEC Commissioner Peirce yesterday about her crypto task force. One of the mandates there is to create a regulatory sandbox for folks to experiment in, but not only in the U.S., almost looking at cross-border experimentation. Do you see any challenges with that?
So this approach of beta testing or regulation, that's in essence what we're talking about with sandboxes. This is an idea that I've kicked around. I had legislation related to it. Hester Peirce has been a fantastic ally and a big thinker on this concept. And now she's in a position to go effectuate that. It is such a welcome and good thing. It will be so good and will put us in a premier position internationally to have the highest and best, the highest use of our capital and the most efficient use of our capital as it relates to government regulation. It is so necessary.
All right, and just before we wrap up, I got to ask you again, what's next for you?
Yeah, I'm putting that together.
Yeah.
I've affiliated as a senior advisor with Stripe. I think they're a fantastic technology company, and proud to join that team and to help their next stage of growth. And then I've enjoyed speaking at conferences like this one today. And I think what Ondo is doing is a fantastic approach to tokenize real-world assets, put them on chain, and give consumers exposure to these products that they so desperately want. This is a nice merger of TradFi and crypto, and so it's fun being engaged in things like this as well. But more to come, more announcements to come, and more work to be done.
Chairman, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me.